This is K2 News at 5 on your side.
You know, I'm still trying to work through my anger, but I really thought I would never see her again.
A one-year-old child is recovering from serious injuries tonight. Police say she was attacked by her neighbor's dogs in Salem. It happened Sunday afternoon, and since then the little girl has had multiple surgeries, will need ongoing medical care, but she's expected to make a full recovery. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for this digital edition of K2 News, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn. Salem Animal Control confirming one of the dogs has been euthanized, the others being held pending a case review. Police say the owner is also facing charges now. K2's Christina Giardinelli is at the live desk after talking to that girl's mom. And Christina, the dog's owner is facing charges now?
Yeah, the owner is, and the mother claims this is not the first incident they've had with one of that woman's dogs. I'm still trying to reach that owner. Now, I do want to warn you, the images and details of this story are shocking and may not be appropriate for all viewers. 16-month-old Adeline Ray is not letting a fractured skull and multiple surgeries get her down. Her mother, Marissa Carone, is still in shock as she recalls holding her in her arms and waiting for the ambulance.
I looked at her and I looked at the big chunk of skull on display, you know, no skin on it, nothing covering it. And I really did. I thought she was going to die, you know. And
it all started when Carone and her two daughters got back from church Sunday afternoon.
I go and get my kids to McDonald's, get them a Happy Meal, so we can take a quick nap afterwards.
The two girls were carrying their food inside.
And my 3-year-old, she always carries her food to the door, and so my little one, she wants to be just like her big sister. So
the neighbor's door opened and two dogs got loose.
I was able to push my 3-year-old out of the way, and she ran up the stairs really quick. But they weren't really aiming for me or my 3-year-old. They were just going for my baby, and so I was trying my best to push the dog off, but also drag her away so they couldn't get their jaws completely around her. You know, and it happened so fast.
Carone claims there have been other incidents with one of the dogs, and she had been working with property managers to take action.
This dog had previously bitten my father-in-law when we first had moved in, and then a few months later after that, it had attacked my dog on our property. It was tied to a chain on their back door.
Police say other witnesses confirmed this at the scene, but authorities do not have previous reports on the dogs. Now, the dog's owner, 53-year-old Melinda Walker, is facing criminal charges for allegedly keeping a dangerous dog and reckless endangerment. The family is asking for the community's support as they're unable to work while in the hospital. You can find a link to the GoFundMe on our website at k2.com. For now, at the live desk, Christina Giardinelli, K2 News.
All right, Christina, thank you for that. Also developing tonight, two different court cases with the accused suspects facing charges ranging from assault to second-degree murder. The man accused of shooting and killing a man in the Hollywood district on November 21st will have to wait another month for a status update. Daniel Snargarev previously pleaded not guilty to killing Kylan Talbert in a parking garage. He's also accused of attempted murder of another person. The suspect is set to appear in court again on January the 9th. And in Vancouver, the man accused of assaulting a woman who was jogging just made his first court appearance. Detectives arrested 21-year-old Nathan Allen yesterday, more than a month after that incident. In late October, police say he grabbed the woman, pushed her to the ground, among other things. Today, the prosecution asked for $1 million bail and GPS monitoring, citing previous allegations of indecent exposure and assault to other women. This story is developing tonight at 5 o'clock. A woman is facing some charges right now, accused of chasing down a group of kids with her car in Gresham on Monday. Now, police say the driver, Alyssa Williams, had a large canister of nitrous oxide with her. Williams told officers the kids were throwing rocks at her car, but police could not confirm that. Police also say they spoke with an assistant manager at a Dollar Tree where the kids ran inside. Manager described the kids as trembling and scared. Williams is being charged with 4 counts of unlawful use of a weapon.
So today, We are not here to beg for more Band-Aids. We are here to articulate a new vision. Am I right?
Tonight, 2 Portland City councilors pushing back on the mayor's approach to ending unsheltered homelessness. On Monday, Mayor Wilson announced that the city has added 1,500 shelter beds this year, but housing advocates say the mayor should have focused on long-term housing options instead of short-term solutions. KATU's Tanvi Verma joins us from outside City Hall tonight, where 2 city councilors spoke out against Mayor Wilson's strategy. What do you have, Tanvi?
So, Steve, right now it's quiet, but just earlier today, this place had dozens of people calling on the mayor to focus more on root causes of homelessness, like issues like affordability. If you've been to Portland, chances are you've seen people living on the streets. But the question city leadership is faced with is, what's the best way to help? Since Mayor Keith Wilson 1,500 shelter beds this year, 2 city councilors have voiced their concerns.
There are now around 1,000 more souls living on our streets than there were when the mayor took office. What is now abundantly clear is that sweeps and overnight shelters do not work and cannot work. We are pouring millions into a system that treats human beings like a storage problem, and we are getting poorer and more desperate for it.
District 1 councilor Candace Avalos says the city should be focusing more on the root cause of homelessness.
The #1 cause of homelessness is rent that people can't pay. And right now in Multnomah County, for every 1,100 people that we move into housing, another 1,400 people fall into homelessness.
Mayor Wilson's chief of staff sees it differently. He says it's not about one approach over the other. It's about tackling the more imminent need first.
In the last year that we had data, over 500 people passed away, or nearly 500 people passed away on Portland streets. So while we work towards these long-term solutions where we have so many shared interests, we have an obligation as a city to also make sure that we're not creating or fostering conditions where people are dying.
Under Mayor Wilson, the city has also created a day center in downtown for homeless people to get mental health support. And earlier today, Councilor Avalos announced right here that she's introducing a resolution that would crack down on some of those root causes, including evictions. More on that on our website at k2.com. Reporting live in downtown Portland, Tanvi Verma, K2 News.
All right, Tanvi, thank you for that tonight. Other news, and this is new information now on this story. The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife is asking people to be on the lookout for the invasive Chinese mitten crab in local waterways. Someone just found one in the Willamette River near the Selwood Bridge. This is the 2nd sighting this year. Another one was caught this spring in the Columbia River. It's unclear how they got there. Sometimes they're illegally imported and dumped, or could have been in the water of a ship. ODFW says mitten crabs live in fresh water. Unlike native crab species in Oregon, they say it can destroy native species and habitats.
It is a species that is really good at burrowing into shoreline, banks, levees, and so it can cause a lot of damage to flood control systems. It can also impact native species. It can eat a lot of fish eggs. So that's one of our concerns, that if Chinese mitten crab were to get a toehold here, could it actually impact our salmon and steelhead? And the evidence does suggest that it could.
They're about 3 inches wide, have hairy features, hence the name mitten crab. They vary in color from brownish orange to greenish brown. If you do see one, report it to the ODFW. I see a meteorologist sitting next to me, Dave Selesky, talking about lots of stuff, including the king tide, right, Dave?
Yeah, we've got the full moon coming tomorrow, big full moon, the last one for the year. Obviously, it's called the cold moon, and we are going to have a good chance of seeing some pretty strong king tides developing over the next couple of days. On the Oregon coast now, it's low tide. You can see from our live camera there at Lincoln City, up on top of the Spanish Head. 46 the current temperature. Again, cloudy but dry. Going to keep that beach hazard statement up for the rest of this evening along the Oregon coast, and then beginning tomorrow morning, we're going to have a coastal flood advisory up for the South Washington, northern part of the Oregon coast, and up here on the central and northern part of the Washington coastline, it's going to be a coastal flood watch. Combination of rain and, again, those big king tides rolling on in from tomorrow going all the way through now until the weekend. And again, we're talking December 4th through the 6th. Okay, Thursday through Saturday. King tides, again, are the highest tides of the year. Again, the sun and the earth and the moon all kind of lining up, causing this extraordinary high tide. Bottom line here is keep back away from the ocean, especially at high tide. Those waves can throw logs and debris far up the beach. And again, bottom line here is, as we've been telling you, never turn your back on the Pacific Ocean. In the meantime, we'll see what's going on weather-wise locally. Again, we do have dry skies right now over Portland, mostly cloudy skies, and 44 our current temperature. Here are the highs today. We topped out on the cool side, 45 for both Portland and Vancouver. No report today out of the Dalles, but Tillamook, Newport, Florence, all at 50, 46 if you're down in Salem, 42 this afternoon for Redmond, and 38 in Pendleton. Same numbers in LeGrand today. Now, so what's ahead for tonight and going into tomorrow? Well, increasing clouds and some wetter weather arriving. The first in a series of systems that begin to move in by late tonight and taking us into the weekend. So here we are tomorrow morning, overcast skies, rain developing. That's going to continue throughout much of the day. We'll see some snow in the Cascades of Oregon and Washington, but it's going to be pretty high, about the 8,000-foot elevation, so not good news for skiers or snowboarders. More wet weather going into Friday. From Friday, we go into Saturday, another round of systems moving into the northwest. And then from Saturday into Sunday, yet more rain coming on in. And by the first part of next week, we could see a fairly heavy push of rain from atmospheric river moving across the northwest going into Monday and perhaps into Tuesday. So how much rain on the way? Well, between tonight through tomorrow, now into Saturday, we're talking maybe upwards of a ½ inch of rain over parts of metro Portland and parts of southwestern Washington. So forecast for you for tomorrow. On the Oregon coast, coastal flood advisory, cloudy skies and rain, south winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, 53 for your high for Astoria. Moving into the Willamette Valley, morning clouds, some fog, and then rain, of course, throughout much of the day, 48 in Salem, 49 for Aurora, and 47 up at Longview. Gorge in the Cascades, cloudy skies and rain in the Gorge, and for that matter, even up in the Cascades until you're above the 8,000-foot level. It's going to be 40 tomorrow up at Government Camp. And on the east side, dense fog advisory up through about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning in parts of northeastern Oregon. Rain and or snow depending upon your elevation. If it's going to be above 4,000 feet tomorrow. In central and eastern Oregon, it's going to be some snow. Tomorrow's high for Baker City at 39. Tomorrow's high in Bend, 48, and 43 in Burns. Now, tonight for Portland, we're down to 39. Tomorrow's high is going to reach 47 degrees. Yes, more wet weather ahead on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, with daytime highs warming in the low to mid-50s. Showers on Monday and another round of very heavy rain possible on Tuesday of next week, Steve.
Still pretty mild, those temperatures, aren't they, Dave?
They're warming up, yeah.
Thank you very much. New information for you today. The Portland City Council passed an ordinance that aims to charge landlords a fee for renting space for detention facilities. It's aimed at the ICE facility in South Portland, though it applies to any privately leased detention facility in the city. That ordinance passed 9-2, with councilors Dan Ryan and Steve Novick voting no. The councilors who introduced the ordinance say the fee will help the city offset cleanup costs associated with protests. They say it will benefit nearby residents, businesses, and schools. The ordinance would impact future contracts, meaning the landowner of the ICE building in South Portland won't be charged unless he renews his lease agreement with the federal government. That landowner can, however, be charged a nuisance fee.
Any nuisances that they do, including excessively tear gassing the neighborhood, they have to pay that nuisance fee now. Theoretically, if the McAdam building lease has to be renegotiated, the entire detention facility impact fee would apply to them.
KATU reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for comment on this potential impact of the legislation. We're working to get you a response now. Let's take a live look at the White House, where the Trump administration has paused all immigration applications. This will include green card and citizenship processing filed by immigrants from 19 European countries. Now, the administration is citing concerns over national security and public safety. The move comes as the president increases his immigration enforcement on undocumented immigrants following last week's targeted attack on a National Guard member. Trump has focused particularly on Somalians, and he criticized the group yesterday.
These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain, and from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise and they said this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country.
Minneapolis has the nation's largest Somali population, leading the president to turn immigration enforcement to the Twin Cities. Both the Minneapolis and St. Paul mayors claim the vast majority of Somali immigrants are in the U.S. legally. Also new tonight, Oregon Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici introduced a bill that will allow immigrants to have hearings remotely through video or telephone conference. She says it's in response to the Trump administration's immigration policies. In a statement, she says the administration's egregious immigration tactics have put people who are legally participating in immigration proceedings at risk of detainment and arrest when they show up in court. Oregon Congresswoman Andrea Salinas and Washington Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal have also endorsed that legislation. We reached out to Oregon Republican Representative Cliff Benz for a response to this new bill. We are working to get you a reaction from them. And this is developing tonight. An East Portland hospital is closing, leaving more than 300 people without a job. Now, according to the notice from the state, the Vibra Specialty Hospital is set to close on February 1st because of ongoing financial challenges. It's a for-profit business based in Pennsylvania. The local hospital specializes in critical care for patients who have complex medical needs or suffer from chronic illnesses. The CEO tells our news partners at Willamette Week that patients will now have to stay in traditional hospitals longer. KATU's on your side, tracking this closure that will leave Portlanders with one less hospital that offers critical care and they'll leave hundreds out of work. Stick with us as we continue covering this story on KATU.com. And later on tonight, Operation Santa Claus returns to its 51st year to help those in need. The effort from Clackamas Fire will feature 5 community parades and 5 donation drop-off events throughout the Portland metro area over the next few weeks. Clackamas kicks off the event with its parade tonight at 6 o'clock. The first donation drop-off event is on Saturday in Oregon City from noon to 5 p.m. And you can find more information about the other parades and drop-off locations at clackamasfire.com. Want to remind you also about KATU's Toy Drive. This holiday season, you can make a big difference for local kids. Just look for a Salvation Army angel tree at a Walmart near you. All you have to do is choose a wish list tag, shop for a gift, and drop it off right there. If you don't have time to make it to the store, you can give online. Visit KATU.com/Toy Drive. Every gift, every dollar, and every act of kindness helps brighten the holidays for kids right here in our own community. New at 5 now, more people can now watch the Trailblazers on the Rip City TV network. Central Oregon Daily News, this is the deal, in Bend, will now be broadcasting the games over the air on channel 18.2. Team management says the Blazers are not just Portland's team, they're Oregon's team, and expanding to Deschutes County will bring games to the entire state. As always, anyone who gets KATU signal over the air can catch most Blazer games on our secondary channel, KUNP. That's K2 2.2. Also available on Xfinity, DirecTV, and Spectrum under various channel numbers. The Blazers are in action right now as we speak. Tip-off was at 4 o'clock against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Portland lost a hard-fought game to the Raptors last night. And after the game, stay tuned for Rip City Wrap-Up with Danny Morang and Joe Simons. If you can't tune into the game right now, there will be an encore showing at 8 o'clock on KUNP. And the score is 68-58, Dave. Blazers lead by 10.
Wow.
At halftime. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you later on. Good night.